Elena Capra, certified master kitchen and bath designer, and also your host of the Next Stage today here. So thank you for joining us this morning. How many of you went to the bash last night? Show of hands. Were you there? Okay, so thank you for joining us this morning so early. I appreciate it. So we've got a lot of great programming today, and of course, all of that's been going on over the last 2 days. There's been so many great things to see on the show floor. Lots of exciting innovations and trends. So it's just been a great show. The energy has been so electric here in Vegas for KBIS this year. So before we begin, we are going to get into our Evolving Luxury Customer NKBA Trends talk. So up next, we have got important industry research from the NKBA. These trend talks on all 3 days of the show are sponsored by Ferguson. Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery is your premier destination for access to the latest concepts of quality home fixtures and appliances. Whether you're a designer or remodeler, the knowledgeable Build with Ferguson showroom associates are dedicated to providing you with world-class customer service. They will work alongside you to ensure your project's success. To introduce the session, please welcome Stephanie McGinnis, Southern California Leadership with Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery. Welcome, Stephanie.
Good morning. How we doing? 9:30? Third day of the show? How we feeling? Yeah, we awake? Yes. Thank you. So cute, isn't she, darling? So really excited to be here this morning. We have a great little talk that's going to happen on luxury customers and trends, so we're really excited. I'm with Ferguson. I've been with Ferguson for 16 years. I get the pleasure of doing outside sales in Southern California with high-end luxury, so anything from 1.2 to $200 million homes, which is super exciting. I feel a little spoiled to be in that market. But today we're going to talk about trends and influences. So we have a little video that we're going to queue up. So we'll play that for you, and then we'll continue. So we're really excited this year. So Ferguson releases the trends and influences once a year, and it's everything that we see that's exciting that's coming up in this year, 2024. You guys all have a copy on your chair, but feel free to scan this QR code. It's our 10-year anniversary, so we're really excited. We also partner with our designers and builders within this document, and they give all their tips and tricks, and I'm really excited for you guys to meet. We have a friend of Ferguson, Brian Brown Studio out of San Diego. He's amazing, super high-end luxury. We're gonna be chatting all things luxury here in a bit. But before we do that, I'm gonna kick it over to Pamela, who's gonna take us through luxury consumers.
My name is Pamela McNally, and I'm with the NKBA. And can I just say thank you all for showing up, but I have to be honest, I was only looking forward to having 5 of you here so I could sit with you, because I am a little tired. But I have to say, Ken, I cannot believe you're here after dancing on the table last night at the bash. Whoa, look at you. He is our board chair for the NKBA. So what I want to talk a little bit about is, let's get going here, luxury. So it used to be everyone understood what luxury was, right? And only a small sliver of our, population could afford luxury. It was something that was out of reach. We couldn't attain it. It was something that you didn't necessarily need to have, but maybe you wanted to have. How many of you today expect luxury in your life in some way, shape, or forms? So it's really not something that we all kind of should have, but we all think we need it. So I think what's important, let me just do this, sorry, to note, and by the way, I like to walk around, so if you think I'm stalking you, I'm not. I just like to walk, but you guys in the back, I'm telling you, I'm coming after you. I ask questions of you. That table, I'm looking at you. You're getting some questions. Yeah. 65% of luxury brands will post positive results. That's down a little bit from 95% in 2022. Why is that? Does anybody know? Want to take a stab? Because products, right? Products, which usually people were part of what people thought of as luxury, have waned. It's really not about products so much as it is about what? What is it about? Experience, right? Because we all kind of think, okay, how many of you have an attic and a basement full of stuff? Okay, my next house, no attic, no basement. All I'm gonna have is a kitchen and a bath because that's where I spend all my time, and I don't want any more stuff in my house. So what's happened is that the idea of luxury, which used to be synonymous with all these beautiful products, has kind of turned into this experience, this feeling that it makes you happy, content. You know, for me, it's really all about, does it bring me down a little bit? Because I'm a little manic, so I got to be like in this soothing area in my room for luxury. So, talking about experience, anybody know whose yacht this is? Jeff Bezos, $500 million. He's, obviously you all know, he's kind of floating all around the world because, hey, he can. But the reality is for him, luxury, he could buy anything in the world, but what does he do? He wants an experience. And then also, it's also this quest for elevation. When you talk about luxury today, it's not just about how it makes you feel, but also how it elevates your lifestyle. So obviously a $600,000 watch, I don't know how many of you have that. I certainly don't. But that's kind of what luxury is today, elevating not only yourself, your lifestyle, where you live. So to succeed today, it can't just be about the product. Product is only one part of this equation. It really is about the experience of how you deliver that product, how you make that product, because people care about that, how you market that product, where you put that product, where you can access that product. And also it's about the experience the consumer has with not just the product, but also where they're getting that product. So being hyper-focused on that consumer, personalized, is what's key. And then also the idea of iconic. How many of you have iconic pieces that never go out of style? Right? We all do, right? What do you have that's iconic? Gucci, right? Right, okay, new Gucci. Okay, so a table that you bought when?
20 years ago.
20 years ago, and you still love it, I'm sure. But I bet you, what do you do around it though? You probably take things in and out. You maybe change the chairs, put something different on it. Right, so you always take a couple key pieces. So these key pieces never go out of style. So who is this customer? This is who it was, okay? It was, I'm gonna wear the statement of who I am. I'm gonna wear my brand on me. I'm gonna tell everybody that I can afford Gucci. So look at, I mean, there's Lady Gaga on the right. I mean, okay. I don't know how many of you can wear that. I certainly cannot. But that kind of persona has kind of faded away and moved more to this quiet luxury. And we all talk about quiet luxury today, but it's about the brand is subjugated to your own personal style. So it's not about the brand, it's more about you, okay? And also who that brand is. So they are now not only driven by making it look good, feel good, but also the responsibility of how it's made and how it also makes you feel. So here, normally you would see all these brands, but now guess what? No brands, personal style. And do you think that suit on the right is leather? How many of you think that suit on the right is leather? It's not. It's vegan leather. So again, you can still, luxury today is so many different aspects, but at the end of the day, it's really about how it makes you feel, your unique style. So instead of it being outward, now it's inward. So it's not about what everybody else feels, but it's about how you feel. So who are they, what do they want, and how do they live? Let's talk about the who. So the other thing that's happening, we're having this shift in generations, right? So it used to be the boomers were the luxury, the core of this luxury market. So now we've got the Gen Zs and the millennials coming up, and guess what? They don't have the same idea of luxury as the boomers. What are they thinking? What are they thinking about luxury? Come on, somebody tell me. Anybody? Organic. What else? What else is important? Unique. All right, table, I'm coming for you. What else? Give me something. Give me something. What else did this younger generation think about luxury? Throw me something. What? Exclusive, okay. Anybody else? Yeah, I had a good time at the bash too. It's all right, I'll take that, thank you. So really, they're looking for something a little bit different, and they are driving this shift in luxury. So this used to be what it was. Remember the Kardashians? And they're still around, they kind of faded, they're still there. All that flash, let me show you who I am. Kitchens had, you know, tons of stainless steel, major appliances, so everybody could see, you know what, I can afford this, even though I may not cook in it, but I'm gonna show my neighbors who I am. Whereas today, it's more natural. Sumptuous, sure. John Legend, Chrissy Teigen's kitchen, beautiful, beautiful texture, surfaces, But you don't see that flash there. Everything's kind of covered behind the warm woods. Look at the floor. Look at the cabinetry. So it does continue to signal taste and affluence, but it now also signals your values. So what you wear, what you have in your house, it's not just about the brand, but it's also about who you are. So our new psyche, anybody know who this is? Who is this? Anybody? Billie Eilish, right? Kind of the new wave coming up. But guess what? Only does upcycled, pre-loved, fair trade, carbon neutral, no child labor products from co-ops. I mean, I don't know how you find anything like this, because no matter what product you're talking about, they can't do it all, right? I don't know any product that does it all, but they're trying. So it's a badge of values versus a badge of wealth. So that's our new status symbol, and the changing shift in the perception of luxury. Does anybody agree or disagree? Hey, show of hands. How many agree with this versus don't agree? Okay, who doesn't agree? I like the disagreeers. Who are the disagreeers? I'm not even sure that's a word, but who disagrees? Anybody? I guess it's too early. So in this new shift, you also have the Henrys, which are the high earners, not rich yet, millennials, right? They make about anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000. They're under the age of 55. And they're kind of also shifting the way, not only the perception of luxury, but what they expect from the brands. So they are tech savvy. They want personalization. They're belief driven. Yes, they are. And they have an affinity for luxury. Their expectation, okay, like my kids, is that they're going to live in luxury. They're going to have luxury products. Their kitchen, their bath is all going to be luxury, personalized, their cars. So their average spend is almost $90,000 on personal luxury goods. That doesn't include travel. That doesn't include other experiences, dining out, et cetera, just personal luxury goods. So the other thing I think that's important is that this new generation coming up, and maybe we all expect this, but this omni-channel, your product has to be in multiple places. It cannot just be online. It cannot just be in a showroom. It cannot just be in a retail. You have to be everywhere, because anytime somebody wants your product, looks for your product, and they're on their phone, or they're in a city, or they're even here, they're expecting to find it. Because nobody wants to do what? Nobody's going to waste their time looking for something unless it's fun. So luxury retail, just like everything else, like showrooms, kind of like that personal experience is coming back. So Louis Vuitton, this is their first store ever in the Hamptons. It opened up last spring because you know what they said? Hamptons are what? It's where my customer is. I don't have a store, but maybe now I do need a store, because guess what? 75% of their customers, or these luxury customers, now want to do what? Experience the atmosphere of a store. They want to go to a store. Now, they may not buy in that store. They may still buy online. But what are they looking for? What are they looking for? Experience. And you better deliver to them in that store. So appearance, it's really about self-expression. It's not about status anymore. We still have that, but mostly it's about who you are as a person. So the what? What are they doing? So again, let's look at this status symbol kitchen. I'm not saying this is bad. A lot of people still like this, but we're kind of moving away from that and moving more to the simple. And a lot of it, let's all agree, some of this has to deal with the fact that we went through a pandemic where we know everything, we want to make sure everything's maintenance free and clean. You don't have to deal with all the nooks and crannies. But this is a pretty beautiful kitchen that also is organic. It's natural. It's simple. But tell me it's not sumptuous and luxurious. If you walked in here, you're not saying this is, my mom's, or it's not luxurious. So it's entering this literally me. So not only is it about what you wear, it's about your kitchens, your baths, the space that you're in. You want it to be uniquely you, and you want it to shadow or mirror who you are. And you know what? Nobody wants a kitchen, a bath, or their home to look like their neighbors. So those days of saying, oh, I want that, are gone. So the other thing that's happening, which is super interesting, is that 20 years ago, maybe, did anybody ever go to like a secondhand shop, like a brand? I mean, they used to have a few of them in New York City and LA, Chicago. They weren't really, they were just for like a niche. They were a niche retail. But what's happened in the last, I would say 2, 3, 5 years is that this has exploded. How many of you have bought secondhand bags, clothes, or shoes? Raise your hand, right? How many of you know Rebag? Anybody know Rebag? It's one of my favorite sites. Secondhand brand designer bags, Birkin bags for $20,000 instead of $80,000. And no, I don't own a Birkin bag. I have kids, guys. But what's happening is that this group, again, it's because sustainable. So this is being driven by that millennial and Gen Z kind of mentality of, you know what, I do want a brand, but you know what, I'm not going to buy a new product. I'm going to buy an old product. That's also because it's iconic. So nearly half the designers surveyed in our most recent trends research said they will definitely recommend a sustainable product. What I think is happening, though, is that they used to recommend, and then their clients would say, what? How much is it? It's too much. I don't want it. Or they would say, oh, I want to recommend a sustainable product. And what would their clients say? No, thank you. You know, not what I want. But now it's happening. You're seeing that shift. You're seeing designers maybe not having to recommend. You're seeing that designers are having their clients actually ask. You're nodding your head. Is that correct? Yeah. But what do they actually buy, or is it really still the price point? Right. Clean, healthy product, which I find so interesting because no one used to talk about products like that years ago. That wasn't what we were focused on. We were focused on the look, the feel. You still are, but in addition to that, it has to be clean and healthy, and in some cases, sustainable. So again, let's talk about the fact no matter who you are, I don't care who you are, I don't care how much your product is, you have to deliver that first-class experience. It has to be authentic, and it has to be personalized. Does anybody know who this is? Anybody? Raise your hand. Anybody have kids? They know who this is? So Louis Vuitton does a really good job being at the high end, but also, guess what? Attracting that younger millennial. Why? Because they're fun, they're on TikTok, that Tyler, the creator, creating things that are fun for this group. They have a sustainability story, a design story. They also have an iconic story. So if you think about it, they have about, what do they have? I think they have like 10 million followers on TikTok. And that's pretty amazing for a brand that said only like 10 years ago they would never do what? What would they never do? Anybody? Never go on social. And TikTok, if you think about it, it's like so far away from Instagram, it's not even funny. But yet there they are, and guess what? Highly successful, one of the most successful brands, luxury brands in the world. And not that they weren't, but they kind of got faded, just like a couple of the others. So if you can break through all this noise, I mean, look here at KBIS. There's so much going on. And I would ask you to think about it. What booths and what brands stood out? And why did they stand out? Because there's so much going on. What made you think that they stood out? Do you have a booth or a brand? Kohler, but why? Experience, right? You go there and you know, have you been to Kohler before? Like in KBIS multiple times? So when you go to Kohler, if you've gone to Kohler multiple times, if you've been to KBIS multiple times, you do expect that experience. But what you gotta give them kudos. Every year they up the ante. How many of you have gone to the Kohler booth? And how many of you think that they up the ante every single time? Because you're going in with this expectation and you're like, they're never gonna be able to deliver it again. But guess what they do? I mean, kudos to their marketing team. I definitely wanna be able to go and talk to that person. And they also make it personal. So again, a brand that really, what's it like, 150 years? 150 years old, still fresh, innovative, and we're still talking about it. I gotta say that's pretty great. So it went from being conspicuous to conscious, and that's really the way luxury is going. So the how, let's talk about the how. So this is what it was. How many of you have been to these restaurants? I'm not like, you know, getting down on people who eat meat, but I'm saying, does anybody here ever go to a steakhouse? It's loud, you know, they give you a steak and you're going there for that and all that. That's what it used to be, and it's be overly designed, big tables, very loud. And then today, this is more what we're expecting, or most people are expecting, especially that younger, authentic. Definitely some greenery, texture, lots of light. And what kind of food do you think's here? This is March in Houston. Has anybody been to that restaurant in Houston? What kind of food is here? Anybody? Organic, and what else? Plant-based. Plant-based, because guess what? People used to be like, yuck, I am never going to that kind of restaurant. I mean, I gotta say, anybody went to, what's it called? There's a plant-based place in Resorts World that we just went to. When I went, what's it called? Something Kitchens. Anybody know? What's it called? Oh, Crossroads Kitchens. I got taken there, you know, I was like, gosh, are you serious? This is what we're gonna have to deal with? I got there, I gotta tell you, I would highly recommend it. because it was super great. I mean, let me just say, we did get some people saying, why are they calling them meatballs? They're not really meatballs. But I'm like, I don't care, they still taste good. So anyways, but what I would say is that this the ideal luxury, moving away from this traditional sense of glitz and over the top. And here's the thing, since it is about personal style, there's no saying that if your personal style is a little over the top, that's you then. That's okay. All right, you go for it. Anybody see the cafe kitchen? What'd you think? Over the top, but I gotta say, you go in and you're like smiling. I mean, so a lot of textures, a lot of color. I mean, definitely over the top and not what I would say quiet luxury, but there was definitely a personal statement that designer had. So today's interiors, high-end clients want what? What's number one? Anybody? Wood, organic, minimal accessories, metal accents, and 100% high-tech appliances. And then also, when you go to a hotel now, in some cases, you go to a hotel and it's almost like your home, because guess what? We've taken all of those amenities from those boutique hotels and we put it in our homes. How many want a bath that's just like a hotel, right? Your primary bath, you want it to be like your hotel. Also, when you're outdoors, guess what? You want it to be just like your kitchen. So your outdoor space, no matter what. Hi, Sharon. I know you're going to ask me a question, which is good, so hold it. I'm sure you are, yeah. So our outdoor kitchens, everybody today, it used to be just a grill, right? Remember you guys growing up? I grew up, I had a grill in the backyard. Dad would go out, fire it up, do a few steaks and burgers, and that would be it on the picnic table. With like paper plates. Now, you could never do that. Now, it's almost like you took your interior kitchen, and you put it outside, and you're dining outside in almost like a dining room. It's amazing. And then tech first, because guess what? Everybody wants things that are fast, quick, efficient, make your life easier. I think there's a seat over there if you wanted to sit down, right there on that table. So everybody wants things that are fast and efficient. Oh, right here too, sorry. Fast and efficient and make your life easier. Nobody wants to deal with things that take too long. I mean, if I have to wait for my oven to heat up for like an hour, which it used to be, I don't want that oven. So let's all talk about travel. Travel is going to be the biggest thing that happens in 2024, more so than luxury products, because why? People want experiences. And what they're doing, they're going to do an experience, but they're also spending more and they are staying longer. So how many of you used to do, you do a week-long vacation, right? That was the norm. How many of you have done vacations now or gone away or spent time for 2 weeks, right? Now, okay, but Sharon, you're probably working too. We talk about this. It's not like you're just taking a vacation. So I don't really know if that term applies, but I think people are getting away and they want to get away from it all and they want to go somewhere where they can actually feel good about themselves and be in nature. So unique and meaningful experiences, retreats, yoga, spa, mindfulness, making you feel good. But there's also this balance. So this is my favorite slide I was telling somebody because, sure, okay, Dior, Christian Dior, luxury brand, they came out with this. Does anybody know what this is? It's water for babies. Not that they drink, but you put on to make them smell better. And somebody said earlier, why do you need to make a baby smell better? I don't know. But what this is a $250 bottle of water that's this big to buy for your baby to make them feel a little better. How many of you would buy that water? I want to see one person raise their hand. Somebody's got it. I know. Okay. So the idea is that this didn't last long. Why didn't it last long? Because there's no balance here. I mean, let's all agree that that's a little bit much. Okay. I mean, I use Johnson baby powder. That's about it on my kids. I mean, I spent maybe $5 on the powder, and here you have this $250 bottle of water for babies. So there is that balance, and as these younger customers come up, they're really looking for that. So it used to be a badge of wealth, and again, let's talk about it being a badge of values, whether we like it or not. So let's talk about the future. We can't get away from VR, AR, AI, no matter how much we may not like it, how we're afraid of it. I mean, I'm actually excited about it. But guess what? Everybody today in one way, shape, or form is going to be using it in 10 years, right? Whether you like it or not. So, New York Fashion Show, these are designs created by AI designers. You wouldn't know the difference. A little crazy, but yeah. individualization, because how many of you want products or clothes that you have, nobody else has? I mean, the only reason I wear black is because even if somebody else has the same outfit, no one will know. Gucci, DIY knitwear, because guess what? They're saying, you know, you want to create, luxury is about creating a personal look and a personal style. So here you go, create your own sweater. Create your own sweater under Gucci. Mindfulness, mind, body, soul. So guess what? Dior, it's not good enough. I have a $250 bottle of baby water that makes them smell good. Now I've got a spa, a cruise spa, where you can spend $10,000 to go for a day and feel great. And then sustainability, no matter what. You know what, no matter what side you're on or what part of the equation you are with sustainability, at the end of the day, we all have to take something. We're gonna have to do something here, so do no harm is really what you want to at least has as part of your lifestyle. So here's Stella McCartney, who was the first, probably really the first high-end fashion designer that believed in sustainability in producing her clothes. So really, what I think luxury is, and tell me if you disagree, is really about freedom. Freedom to be who you are, right? Live in a space that you want, travel where you want. And it's not about living up to anybody else's expectations but yourself. That's it. All right. So we do have a panel discussion, but I want to know, does anybody have any quick questions or comments? Because I also like comments. Any comments, questions, anybody? We're still all asleep from last night? Okay. Nothing? Okay. All right. So we're going to call the panel up and have a little discussion about, luxury. All right, are we ready? Let's rock it. Okay. So I want Brian to introduce himself, if you don't mind. Brian, you can introduce yourself, talk a little bit about who you are.
I'm Brian Brown, and I am a high-end luxury designer in Southern California. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I can remember right now.
I love that. Okay. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about, so we talked about luxury, we talked about the shift in luxury, and you guys are in probably the best position in Ferguson to say, you see the consumer, you've seen them come in, and you've probably seen how they've shifted and what they're looking for. So you can talk a little bit about that, like what are they looking for? What the shifts have you seen in the last several years? What are they focused on?
Yeah, great question. So we're seeing customized, like anything customizable. So they want to be able to pick this faucet with that handle. They want to be able to make it their own, which is really unique. We're also seeing that natural stone, natural leathers, all of that trend coming back in. So if you guys saw the Monogram booth, that leather handle is really, really nice. So anything with those natural, high-end, luxury, and then customizable is really what we're seeing.
And Brian, your clients, what are you seeing? What are they asking you for?
You know, what I mostly am seeing is people want things that stand the test of time. Things that feel good in the hand, things that are made with great material, and don't have a flash to it, like you were saying earlier. But for my clients, this has been going on for a long time. So I think the ultra wealthy have always been kind of mindful about things that have lasting power. They're smart with their money. And I think the people that are a little bit more flashy are catching up now. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, real rich people
okay.
don't show off their wealth.
Right.
They don't want to. They don't want people to know.
In fact, you probably couldn't tell that they were rich because they're probably wearing ratty clothes.
Yes.
Or they're wearing something that you would never think they'd wear, and you wouldn't tell. But talk to me a little bit about sustainability. Like, how does that factor into what your clients are looking for?
You know, for me, and my clients, I think sustainability goes back to lasting power. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe not everything may be made out of a recycled material, but if you're going to have, I have a client in Jackson Hole who has had their Wolf range for 30 years.
Wow.
You know, and it still looks great. It operates great. It's a totally different style than what's out today. It actually has a wolf on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Super cool.
And I got to cook on it, which was a really cool experience. So, what was the rest of the question?
That was it. That was
Cool.
it. You got it.
A lot of the manufacturers are really doing a great job of making products to last, right? So they test to do 20, 30, 40 years. So we're seeing that shift across the industry, which is really exciting.
But also, what are they doing so that you can personalize it and customize it? So you could change it if you want. So you don't have to change the entire appliance, but
Typically, it's a knob or a handle or some sort of detail. We're seeing a lot of gold coming in on the bezels, that kind of thing. So.
and well, I'd like to shift a little bit to hardware. So are you seeing a lot more? Are you seeing less hardware but bigger hardware making statements?
Brian,
Brian,
I
this is
think.
to you.
Oh, thank
Sorry.
you. You know, I am a very clean contemporary designer, and for me, hardware is a function and not so much a flash. I think that hardware should support the rest of the design and not stand out apart from it. It all needs to blend harmlessly together. And I would say again, quality of material, like a solid brass pole versus something that may be made out of aluminum feels just way better in the hand and lasts a lot longer as well.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit. We talked about now, we talked about the past. Let's talk about the future. What do we see in the future for luxury? What are they going to be looking for? Where are we going? Sorry.
I would say technology. Again, I know it comes up over and over again, but I have a new client in Coronado. Anybody know Coronado? It's a very nice area. And when she goes on her beach walks, she wants to see what her bread looks like in her oven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so she can turn it off if she doesn't make it back in time. So, you know, I haven't had that request before. I know it's been out there, but I think people just want that sort of, I don't know.
Convenience?
Yeah, convenience and knowing what their bread is doing while they're outside of the house.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but okay. But I know that, Ferguson, you have the trends report. You're looking ahead. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think especially for the luxury customer, they have a different expectation, right? So with the technology, they're really looking for, hey, I want to be able to know what's wrong with my oven or what's wrong with my appliance. I don't want the tech to be here 3 times, right? So integrating that technology is really important, but to be the ease of use and to help them, their expectation is they want it fixed. They want it fixed now, right? You guys all have luxury clients. You have to over communicate. You've got to be on it. It's a different level, and so just giving them the information and then tying that to the technology is really important.
So can you describe the luxury consumer in your ecosystem? Who is that? And is it changed by region, demographic?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, we're nationwide, so every state has a different feel. But in Southern California, we're very fortunate and blessed to deal with the 1% of the 1%, as many as you do. And it's just, for us, it's just about relationships and communicating and being part of the team and getting them what they need when they need it.
But do you treat them any differently? Like in your store, do you have a VIP experience or?
We treat everybody VIP, so we really try to give that consistent experience throughout, from the moment they step in to the moment that the home closes. So it's really for us about the relationship and being there throughout the project.
And Brian, talk to me a little about give us an idea who your client is. Like, who is that high-end customer?
You know, it varies. So I have some clients that are later stages of their life, and they expect things differently than my younger clients, right? So it's hard to say that the luxury client is one person and what they expect.
But what does I hate to say older, but the older
Mature.
client, mature client want versus what the younger client wants? What's the biggest difference you see?
The biggest difference I see is that with the more mature client, they actually do want to go and see and feel and touch everything. And usually a younger client can see something online or in our presentation and be like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I want it. So I guess it's a technology thing. As people have grown up with technology, they feel more comfortable just seeing an image. But we also go to physical places as well, but I can sell things from an image.
Right.
And I couldn't do that with my more mature clients.
And what about Ferguson, seeing the difference between in-store, online?
Yes, so it's really important for us to have that omni-channel experience. So we have the stores in every state across the country, but we also have Build.com, if you guys are familiar with that. That's also Ferguson owned, and that's our online, and you can create portfolios. So we're really getting a mix of, to Brian's point, people who just want to see it, and
Right.
then clients that actually want to come in and touch and feel all the things.
So one last question. If you had to look ahead 10 years, where are we going with luxury? Where is that client? What is the most important thing they're looking for? 10 years ahead. Brian, what do you think?
I would say technology and lasting power
Okay.
and quality. I don't think that the luxury client really changes much. I think that they always expect the best of what is out at that time. And they expect it to work. They expect it to last and support their lives.
And Ferguson, what are we thinking looking ahead? Are you changing your stores in any ways or anything that you see?
For us, it's sustainability, right? That's really important to Brian's points. They really want something that's going to work, that feels good, that looks good with the red knobs, that kind of thing. It's important for them, but it's also about the product lasting. So,
Okay. Any questions? We have a few minutes. I know we're running a little late, and Leanne's probably having a heart attack back there, but does anybody have any questions for our panel? No?
Wake up.
All right. Okay.
Anybody need coffee?
Can I ask you a question, though? Can we ask, and show of hands, how many of you shopped at Ferguson? And how many of you have sent your clients to Ferguson? And how many of your clients have said they had a great experience? Raise your hand. Great.
thank you.
All right. Anything, Brian, you wanted to ask the group? We have a
No.
few seconds. No? Okay.
I think I'm good.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming. And I appreciate Brian, Stephanie. You guys were great. Thank you. Appreciate it.